From a dental practice to a volunteer, the incredible story of Doc Hazenfield joining us today. This is our GoHero Home Services Hometown Hero, and we're honored to have you with us today. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, thrilled to be here, Matt.
You know, your story's pretty incredible because for the longest time, like, you had your career set. A lot of us will always go to school, like you were talking about a little bit earlier. Go to school, you have your career all set, and you did that. You lived that out. You were a doc. You had your own dentistry, your practice as a dentist, and then you became a volunteer after that.
Yeah, my neighbor was in the fire department, and I talked to him one afternoon and said he came home and he had a uniform on. Said, "Phil, where you been?" Said, "Been in the fire department." Okay. So I said to him, "Well, how can you get involved with that?" And I had been retired for probably 3 years. I wouldn't say I'm bored. There's a lot of stuff to do out there. But yeah, I thought this might be something that I might be beneficial. So anyway, we went down to the department and talked to the admin officer, and they said, "Here's your paperwork, fill it out." And I'm still there. 3 years now.
So this intrigues me because were you a little bit nervous after you said it? Even you were retired 3 years later is when you started doing this. So were you a little bit nervous, like, man, I really want to do this, but at the same time, I know I've been retired now for a couple of years, and
well, and see, I'm going in an department as a rookie. A lot of people that come into our department are firemen that work in another department somewhere else, and they volunteer to give more time to us. I didn't have any association with fire at all. Learned on the job. We all, most of us will take this EMR class so we can be a first responder and know how to react on a scene and how to behave. But I nervous. No, I wouldn't. I'm really nervous, but it's unusual. But my very first call that I went on was a tower. Went and met this person whom we actually knew, Phil and I did, and he had had a heart attack and passed away overnight. And there was nothing we could do. It was too far, but it was odd that my very first call did not really go well. So you could say, "Gee, Doc, way to go." But you can see it's not really funny. But I don't really felt like I was really nervous. I was more nervous doing this than that.
Well, I promise I'll keep it very low-key for you today. So after something like that happens, so as you talk about that, and we're talking here to Doc. Everybody calls you Doc. So
yeah.
We'll call him Doc over here. A Seymour volunteer for the Seymour Fire Department. You talk about that and the traumatic and your first experience about a fatality in somebody that you know. What goes through your mind after that? Does that make you say, okay, I want to help others, and you do want to help others, and I'm not saying you want to do that, but does that kind of detract you away, like, well, maybe this is something I don't want to do, or?
No, that didn't enter my mind, honestly. Obviously that is a low part, but on the other end is when you come on a scene and someone has arrested, and you're able to institute CPR and be able to bring them back. That's very gratifying. Of course it is.
So talk about helping. I mean, I could see this common theme here as we're talking here. Is you're right now a volunteer for the fire department about helping others.
My practice was in South Knoxville, and part of our department covers South Knoxville. And I couldn't tell you the number of calls I've been on where we go in and someone's having breathing problems or some kind of maybe had a fall, and they'll look at me and say, "Aren't you Dr. Hazenfield?" And I'll go, "Yeah, I am." And they'll say, "I was a patient of yours now." And I said, "Now you're a patient of mine again. Give me your arm. Let's take your blood pressure and check you out."
Wait a minute, you were my dentist, and now
That's right.
that probably goes through them for a couple of minutes. So like, this was my dentist before.
Well, and I've been on scenes too, and I go, "This person was a patient of mine. I wonder what their teeth are doing."
But you don't look at that part, right? You just
no.
Well, I got a couple of pointers here
now
for you.
Taking
your blood pressure. Yeah.
Right.
So. Well, as I'm talking to you, the theme here is about helping others, and when we talk about our hometown heroes here in East Tennessee, the gratitude about helping others, and you could see that, and you could hear that, and especially hear that in the sound of your voice. So is you're now a volunteer here, as you're into it, and as you do your daily activities, talk about what it means to you about helping others.
It's just the fact that we can help people that don't have any other avenue. We go see people that don't have insurance, that have not subscribed to the fire service, Fire service is not a guaranteed service in the state of Tennessee. You have to be under some kind of contract. But we take care of people regardless, And it's nice to be able to know, of course, we get a call in and we look at it and see what's happening, whether it's been a fall or someone's having breathing problems. You can kind of put in your mind, okay, this is what we're going to need to have as far as equipment when we go on the scene. And then everybody does their job. And but it is very gratifying, to be able to get, probably the thing that I dislike the least, or at least dislike the most, is we don't really know the final story. Yeah. We'll give the first couple chapters of someone's health and how they go, and then they go to the ambulance to the hospital, and we go, okay, wonder how they did.
And that's probably something you think about that night too, when you go back to the fire station.
Sometimes we can check, but generally you don't. You just think, okay, there's my job, I did it. As the guy says on MASH, I did it very well, and then you move on to the next one, because you never know how many calls you'll have during the day.
And talk to us really quick too about who nominated you for.
Chief Lindsen Bigler, wonderful person. He's retiring April 1st, so.
You have some pointers for him about retiring. Maybe he's going to want to become a dentist then after he's done.
Well, I don't think he's going to totally leave the fire service. But as he's told all of us, he's going to be able to take things, because he's always been on call all the time, 24/7, 365. He's got an earpiece in, listening to what's going on. But, and of course, we're always looking for volunteers. Anybody who's listening thinks, you know what, I might like to do that. Come on down and talk to us. Do what we call a ride-along, fill out a form, for insurance purposes, and go for a ride-along in the fire truck. It's a real trip, Hopefully you get the old lights and sirens. That's fun.
That'd be the fun part of that, right?
Right. That's every little boy's dream. Go the lights and sirens in a fire truck.
And you can hear the passion here from Doc over here, a volunteer for the Seymour Fire Department, and Doc, our hometown hero. We appreciate you very much, and we got to also thank our great friends here at GoHero Home Services for making all of this possible as well. So we can't say thank you enough to them, and thank you enough for everything that you do for us too.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate y'all's support for Seymour Fire Department. The fire service needs everyone's support, even regardless whether it's a volunteer service or some big service like KFD, because our particular department services 125 square miles. Think of that amount of size. Of course, that's partly Knox, parts Sevier, and part Blount.
Okay.
So appreciate you having me, Matt.
Well, we appreciate you, Doc. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Ready, set, go, hero.